Hello, welcome to... Oh, shit. God damn it. Die already. Sorry about that. Or where was I? Oh, right. Welcome to Jason Board's how-to guide for animals. Now, this isn't for animals. This is how to deal with animals in Project Winter. And in this guide, we'll be going over the behavior of the animal, the health, the attack types, what items it can drop, whereabouts you're most likely to find the animal, and how to fight the animals without dying. Alright, and here we have the white wolves. These white wolves are not as common as the black wolves that you'll find throughout the map, but they are stronger. They have about 800 health, which is about 80 to 100 more health than the black wolves. They are just as aggressive as the regular black wolves, as you'll see here. When you get into their aggro range, they will just turn around and start attacking you. You are also safe on certain terrain that they're not able to reach, so climbing up on a rock is very helpful when you're trying to avoid wolves, or jumping off a bridge. They will always drop 2 raw meat and 1 fur. For their attacks, they perform a lunge. You have a second or two before they turn around to lunge at you again to maneuver or start attacking them. Each lunge, 140 damage. Alright, let's look into where we can find them. We're going to start with the infamous 3. This section of the map at the cabin can provide some information to see whether or not this section is available. Additionally, you can check the northwest region if it is blocked by switches that lead up to dynamite on a rock wall. These wolves will be on the map. But before I get into fighting them, let's look at the other spawning points for these wolves. So they typically spawn at certain locations, sometimes southeast, and they will patrol in a pair. The only other spawning point for these wolves is the wolf objective, but they are able to spawn as 2, 3, or 4 at any given time. Now you're probably asking yourself, how's he gonna get out of this one? There's 3 wolves charging at him. Now there are techniques you can use that'll lower the amount of damage you take while still doing heavy amounts of damage. So to start, there's the backswing attack. You charge at the wolf with a fully charged swing. As it charges at you, as it's about to jump, you can veer off to the side, you release your swing, and as the wolf passes you in its lunge, the backswing of your attack will clip it. And it does the full amount of damage, and you just rinse and repeat that until it's dead. Alright, most importantly, do not run. Wolves are great at tracking you down, especially if you run in a straight line. And this brings us to our final technique, and that is spam weak attacks. Now disclaimer here, this should only be used on animals. You will lose a fight against another player if you try this technique on them. The only ever time this would work with a player is if you're both just having little bitch slap fights and eventually one of you guys drops. But that does not happen often.
We just wanted to talk to you for a few minutes, if that's okay, and just maybe...
Yeah, there it is! Slapped you! You probably think I'm finished, huh? No, there's another one!
Oh my god!
Don't worry, bitch, I didn't forget about you! There's a slap for you! Slap, slap, slap! Yeah, there you go! Here's a little reach around the back of the head slap!
Oh god, please! You have to get away! He won't ever stop!
Ah, I'm going slap happy!
Alright, and that brings us to the white wolves' little brother, the black wolves. They have a little bit less health, sitting at 750. They're the same type of behavior, so they're aggressive. Their drops are exactly the same, 2 raw meat and 1 fur. And their attacks are the lunge as well.
Jason, are you medic? Are you
What the
now,
fuck, Deuce?
while the infamous 3
Oh
are quite the dangerous trio to contend with, we can't forget about their comrades in the northeast. These are the other 3. And once you're on the other side of this wall, you'll find that there are 3 black wolves waiting for you, very territorial. The other spawn point is the patrolling areas. They're very more common than the white wolves. White wolves only have about 2 to 3 spawn points, while the black wolves can be riddled throughout the map. And of course, we have one of the spawning points as the wolf objective. That's pretty straightforward. They'll spawn in 2, 3s, or 4s again. And here we have the para-wolves that is always going to be guarding the second objective. They will always be here. As soon as you go near the second objective, they will go after you. And while that isn't bad enough, you could be going around simply just opening bunkers. What's that?
Surprise, motherfucker!
Oh, God. Oh, it's a wolf bunker. These bunkers are rigged to explode. Who did it? I have no idea. Maybe it's just pesky little wolf inside. So I'm just going to provide some combat tips here. I'm not going to reiterate whatever he said for the white wolves. This is more just on the scale of evening the numbers, as fighting multiple wolves can be very overwhelming. So first we have the bear trap. This is your best approach. There is another trap. And this one you should not use. Do not do this. Do not use mines against animals, because they'll always blow up in your face. Alright, that's all there is for black wolves at the moment. These guys are not to be trifled with. They have a whopping 2,200 health pool. Now with their behavior, they're more defensive, and they'll typically give a roar to indicate that they see you. And if you don't leave the area, they're going to attack you. Their drops contain 4 raw meat and 2 fur. Now this beast has 2 different attacks, both pretty devastating. Firstly, they have the swipe. Each attack does 140 damage, but they can attack extremely quickly. Secondly, they have their AoE attack, which slows you, has splash damage, and your damage. So first off, let's see where we can find these guys. Typically, they're only going to be in front of bunkers. Those types of bunkers will probably be commonly referred to as bear bunkers. They will stay here the entire map and guard it like it's their home. And of course, we have the wolf objective. I guess it can be the wolf and bear objective at this point now. These can spawn as solo units, or they come in pairs. When they come in pairs, they are devastating. Now that we've found out where we can find these bears, let's find out how we should face them. Ironically, not face to face. Do not go toe to toe with a bear. The bear's swipe is extremely fast and will knock you out before you're able to kill it. Avoid this at all times. This leads me to my next tip, the hit and run. This is the safest way to approach the bear when all you have is a weapon. It's fairly simple. You run at the bear, you hit it once with a fully charged swing, and then you dip. You just run away. It chases you. As soon as you're able, you hit it again and you run away. This tactic is solely to avoid getting slowed by the bear. And that's our next tip. Avoid getting slowed. As soon as you're slowed, you become an easy target for the bear's swipe. You can't outmaneuver it at that point. And just to sprinkle on a little teamwork here, what you can do is have a person on each side of the bear, hitting them consecutively, and the bear will not react. It'll be too confused as you stagger it over and over again, and it's just like a nice free kill most of the time. Maybe. Alright, let's look at the next one, and they are the moose, or meese, or mice. Moosin? I don't know. All I know is they have 1,050 health. It takes about 3.5 full swings to actually take one of these guys down. Alright, let's look at their behavior. So as you can see here, they're pretty chill. They'll walk around minding their own business until some jackass comes and smacks them in the face. They'll attack you once, and then go right on about their merry little way. Until you smack them in the face again, of course. So let's go on to their drops. So the moose drop 3 raw meat and 2 fur. Now, while these moose are passive, they still can attack you. They have 3 or 4 different attacks. They all do about the same amount of damage. First off, we have the charge. Secondly, there is the back kick. And then lastly, the headbutt or front kick. So let's look at where these moose will spawn. Now, the first spawning point I like to refer to as the backpacks, because that is their purpose. They get murdered every game. Sad tale. Turned into backpacks. Anyways, so these set of 3 moose will patrol around the cabin just outside the initial bunker area in a clockwise fashion, and they will be there every game. Every single game you'll see them patrolling around. They're usually dead within the first minute. Now you will find these moose patrolling throughout the map. They do have a fairly random spawn point. It's typically in the icy areas or one hillish area. Now moving on, my only combat tip for this one is do not die. If you die to these, you become the laughingstock of the game. Your wife will leave you, she'll take the kids, you'll lose all your money. Your dog will run away due out of pure embarrassment. Your cat will disown you, if it hasn't already. No one will invite you to their birthday parties anymore. It's a sad day. Don't die to these. Don't be like that. Don't become that one. You'll be outcast from society, further exiled into the ghostly realm to live out your days alone. And it'll all be rightfully so. You died to the moose. This is your plot in life now. There's nothing we can do for you. Now let's look at the caribou. So these have a health pool of 1,050. As with the moose, the caribou will only attack you if you hit them first. If not, they'll just walk right by you. Unlike the moose though, these only drop 3 raw meat and 1 fur. Now the caribou have a varying amount of attacks, but they all do the same amount of damage. First there is the charge, and then the headbutt. It has a front attack, which is just a kicking, and the back kick. Alright, that's enough for attacks. These are not guaranteed to spawn on the map. They have their specified location where they will spawn. Typically you can find them up north if it's a walled off map. As for the combat tips, much like the moose, do not die. Honestly. These are not the guys you want to die to. Thankfully, they usually spawn far away enough from the cabin that if you do die to them, no one will ever know. They'll just assume a traitor or a bear got you. So I guess there's that. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. I think that'll be the end of the guide for now. Hopefully that'll provide enough information on those animals so you can have a bit of a better chance to survive. Oh wait, what the fuck? What's that? Oh, not like this. No. Not like this. Oh, my fault. I forgot one. Here we have the polar bear. It has about 5,000 health. It's about 16 swings to take it down. It will only guard the wolf objective once it has spawned. Excluding the traitor, it is the most difficult animal to take down. Also, its name is Halestorm because, you know, we name our pets in Project Winter. This is what happens when you're the owner of the game. You become the biggest foe to the fan base. Unless, of course, you lower the game's price to $7 or maybe $4. Was it 5 or 6? I forgot what we decided. But, you know, we totally know best. When it dies, it drops 4 raw meat, 2 fur, and 1 human heart. Who that heart belongs to? I have no idea. Probably Halestorm. Maybe that's why it's called Halestorm. Alright, now let's look at its attacks. So, one thing we have to remember is since it's bigger, it's faster, it has a longer range, and its attacks will have more of an AoE effect, so when it swipes, it had a larger cone in front of it to deal damage. So first off, we have the large swipe. It does 140 damage, it's very fast just like the other bear, and the only difference is there's a wider cleave. On to the next one is the bite. So the bite does 224 damage, just a frontal attack. It's pretty basic. And lastly, we have the slam. Now, unlike the regular bear slam, this one has a massive area of effect. It'll still slow you, it'll still do 200 damage. That is all for the attacks. Let's move on to where you can find it. Now the wolf objective only has a chance of spawning Halestorm. It will typically only spawn if there's 4 or more survivors alive. A precursor to the polar bear spawning will be the white wolf spawn during the early phases of the objective. So when you see them, it's a good indicator that you should prepare that you will be dealing with Halestorm in the last about 75% of the objective. As for combat tips, teamwork. If everyone goes on the polar bear all at the same time, you'll have a way better chance of killing it, as opposed to everyone running around and panicking. Guns. You can have the people up front while people shoot at it from behind, and that'll do a heavy amount of damage. It is a very big target, so you probably can't miss with a shotgun. Traps. Bear traps are great. They will immobilize it and make it unable to attack for a long period of time. Alright, this is actually the end of the video. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I'm going to be turning this into a series, so if there's any other subjects you want me to provide a high level view to, feel free to leave them in the comments. Alright, thanks for watching.